Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Kane, and I'm the Marketing Manager for Wonderware NorCal. Thank you for attending our Water and Wastewater Scada Made Easy webinar today. After the webinar this morning, we will be doing a short Q&A. Please type any questions or comments into the Q&A box, the chat box, or email us at webinar@norcal.wonderware.com. Now I'd like to introduce your presenter for today's webinar, Ty Brown. Ty is an automation industry expert and has been with Wonderware NorCal for the past 3 years. Good morning, Ty.
Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining me this morning for the webinar presentation, Water and Wastewater Scada Made Easy. The water and wastewater industry is a very special area for Wonderware NorCal. We've assisted hundreds of customers up the 101 corridor, the Bay Area, and down into the Central Valley, such as Stockton, Modesto, and Fresno, just to give you a few examples. But before we get into the meat of the presentation, I would like to share with you our website, norcal.wonderware.com. We're going to go to our Scada page. And now this entire page was engineered specifically with the water wastewater industry in mind. We put numerous tools available for you for self-education, such as tutorials, webinars, such as this one that you're attending today, and data sheets. We've included videos, white papers, and case studies to help you see other individuals that have taken advantage of Wonderware software and leveraged its technology. But let's take a look at some of our trainings and workshops. So right up here on the right, we have our training schedule. This is what we'll be doing for the remainder part of the year. And our trainings are very easy to register for. You can simply do so online, or you can go ahead and contact your account manager, and they'd be more than happy to assist you. Now let's take a look at our upcoming workshops. This is our workshop schedule for the upcoming year. It's very important that you periodically check this page because we periodically add classes and adjust the content to enhance the user experience and to depending on customers' needs. Another thing that's very important is if you're an individual that's looking for continuing education credits, our workshops and classes are accredited for continuing education certification with the California Department of Health and the California Water and Environment Association. And one last important note about our workshops, these are free events, and they're designed to gently accommodate those with very low skill level to those who are very advanced. So let's go ahead and jump into our presentation. Take a look at our agenda. So we'll have a brief discussion about Wonderware and Wonderware NorCal, Wonderware in the water industry, and our Wonderware Scada solutions. We'll give you some example of our architectures and some pricing. And then we'll get into some demos. Our InTouch Industry Pack for water and wastewater, our ER Portal, Computerized Maintenance Management System, our very powerful historian, and then we'll talk about our InTouch Access Anywhere, our web-based Scada, and then we'll finish it off with Dream Reports and then down to some question and answering. So Wonderware today. Wonderware has been around since 1987. 1/3 of the world's plants and facilities utilize Wonderware software. 750,000 licenses are in use today. We are in over 140,000 locations throughout the world. Clearly, Wonderware is a world leader in automation. Wonderware is unsurpassed as being the easiest to use software on the market. Wonderware also puts a huge emphasis on helping you preserve your investment. If you installed your application 25 years ago, your same application can be run on a Windows 8 operating system today without having to rebuild that application. Now this slide further emphasizes that point. The point that Wonderware places a huge importance on helping you preserve your investment. Again, if you're not currently running the most current version of Wonderware, we provide a one-click migration path to help you preserve that investment. Again, you don't have to rebuild that application. That investment is secure. Wonderware NorCal has been a resource for you for 22 years, since 1992. We offer local, hands-on training at our San Francisco training facility. And Wonderware corporate office, located in Lake Forest, California, also offers training. Now, we understand that many of our customers and our system integrator partners have very busy schedules. So we therefore make it very convenient for self-education, for offering webinars such as the one that you're watching, so that you can watch and learn. If you're looking for assistance with system consulting, if you're looking for help with putting together an RFP or a Scada architecture, we can help advise you on Scada best practices and help reduce your risk and simplify your installation. Now, we've received tremendous positive feedback on our technical support. Why? Well, just to give you an example, back in May, 94% of all of our calls were answered live. So what does that mean? No waiting, no voicemail, and better yet, we don't offshore our technical support. It's all here local within California. So therefore, there's no communication issues or confusion. That's our commitment to helping you. Now, Wonderware's mission is to help the water and wastewater industry with products that are reliable, affordable, and that helps them meet the regulatory compliance standards and to provide a safe and quality product for their families, the public, and the environment. A testament of that is that Wonderware is a member of various trade associations within the water wastewater industry. The International Water Association, the American Water Works Association, and the Water Environment Federation. Now, this slide here is a little bit older, but it really gives significance to the fact of just how many licenses are in force within the water wastewater industry. And many of you listening today are interested in becoming a Wonderware customer or are actively Wonderware customers now. So let's talk about our various Scada solutions. Now, the reason why these solutions were chosen is because they meet this very important criteria. They're affordable, they're proven, and they're easy to use. So let's say you have a lift station or a pump station, and you need a visualization of that process. We offer low-cost operator panels to help you with that solution. Then we have our industry-leading InTouch application for visualization of your controls process and offers full control. Now, just below that, we have our InTouch read-only version, and this is a more affordable option for individuals within your organization that only need visualization. They don't need access to control. Then we have our Citel radio. They offer a solution for VHF, UHF, and 900 megahertz sped spectrum. Then for your networking needs, we have Intron, industrialized Ethernet switches. These have a great reputation for being reliable and durable. And Wonderware NorCal is a stocking distributor. So what does that mean? That if you need to have access to a new network switch, you don't have to wait. We have it in stock. And then we have our award-winning Historian. This is your database for reporting and analysis. This is very popular within the water wastewater industry, and we'll be doing a demo on this. Now, many of our customers with plants and facilities can't be at their plant 24/7. So they have need for monitoring alarms. We make that available with email, text message, and phone alarm notification. Then we have our very powerful system platform. Now, this is a newer, more modern way of managing and accessing Scada. It has modules that allows you to connect your entire facility, not just Scada. So if you want to incorporate an energy management solution, we have a module for that. If you need to connect people and processes, we have a module for that as well called Workflow. And if you need remote access, we have a solution for that as well. And it can be used via iPad, laptop, or smartphone. Then we have our Enterprise Historian. This allows you to replicate data from your controls network or your Scada network to your operations or business network so that the operations can have access to that vital Scada data without being on your controls network. And we'll go a little bit more into this architecture because this architecture enhances cybersecurity preferences. And then we have a web portal for live screens, trends, alarms, and reports. And then we have our CMMS system, which is a maintenance management system, ER portal, integrates seamlessly with Wonderware, and is very easy to use. And if you need access to your reports but don't want to have to lug around a laptop, we make it very convenient and simple for you to have access to all those vital KPIs from your Wonderware historian with our native tool designed for a smart device, tablet or phone, called Smart Glance. And then underneath that, we have our video security surveillance system called LongWatch. The significance here is that it leverages low bandwidth. It integrates seamlessly with your Wonderware Scada. In addition, it couples software and cameras. So what that means to you is that you don't have to make several calls. You make one phone call, and if you have an issue with either or you need technical support in connecting your surveillance system or you want to connect to your cameras, one phone call, simple to use. And then we have our award-winning customer support. We offer phone, technical support, and free upgrades. Now let's talk a little bit about that award-winning HMI. InTouch is your Scada node or workstation. For many that do not know, Scada stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. InTouch is the #1 HMI in the world for 27 years, since 1987. It has core functions that gives you visualization. So it gives you an exact representation of your processes with award-leading graphics, such as our Wastewater and Water Industry Pack, which is a free download that leverages our Orchestra graphics to help you visualize your real-life assets. Then we have alarming for viewing alarms, logging alarms, and acknowledging alarms. This will help you maintain and stay within your control specifications. It also has redundancy, a checkbox tool that allows you to simplify and ease your failover. So you don't have to do any scripting or any complicated programming. It's a simple checkbox. And then we work with your existing automation infrastructure, your PLCs, your RTUs. And we also support Modbus Serial, Modbus TCP, and any PLC. Now, InTouch has another way of allowing you to access your full Scada system. And we do that via HTML5 web browser with our tool, InTouch Access Anywhere. The takeaway I want you to get from this is there's no software on the device. So if you're using a laptop, if you're using a tablet or a smartphone, you're accessing your full Scada via web browser, HTML5. And you can use Safari, Chrome, or Internet Explorer, just to name a few. Now, I mentioned our Wonderware Historian. This is a very valuable tool in the water, wastewater area. It gives you your centralized database, connecting all your resources. It connects anyone who needs access to that valuable Scada data via Historian client. An important thing is that it's not a prerequisite that you're an InTouch user. Our Wonderware Historian is an agnostic tool. So heaven forbid you have another HMI, you can still take full advantage of our very powerful tool, the Wonderware Historian. It allows you to view your process over time with a very powerful trending tool, and allows you to do calculations inside Microsoft Excel with a native feature called Workbook. It also allows you to data mine, so we'll get a little bit more into that, but it's very powerful. Let's take a look at our trend. Now, the Wonderware trend is a very powerful feature because it's more in depth. It allows you to compare multiple trends. It also allows you to make annotations within the trend. And again, it allows you to view your process over time. And you can view your process as you need to see it. Then we have that workbook feature. It leverages Microsoft Excel. See, if you have anybody in your plant that is familiar with Microsoft Excel, they can very quickly add Industrial SQL Server to their Excel workbook and begin very quickly calculating data for weekly, monthly, and quarterly reports. This tool can also be made available on the web, and you can save that report and refresh the data, and then all your data will be refreshed with new calculations. It also comes preloaded with ad hoc reports. Now here's one of my favorite tools within the Wonderware Historian. It's the query tool. And the reason being is because it makes you a database pro without having to know any new programming language. It leverages SQL. And for many of you who may not know, SQL, there's a programming language called Structured Query Language, which allows you to go into the SQL Server and pull out data. Well, the Wonderware Historian, as you can see, an example of that SQL query language, gives you that programming language. So now you are a database pro without having any additional programming skills needed. You can go in, pull your data out as you need to see it. So here's an example of our Enterprise Historian and a architecture that emphasizes the cybersecurity preferences. So you have your Scada domain on the bottom right here, and that's where all your control is done for all of your various assets for your plant. Now, the challenge that we've seen is that many times you have your business domain, and these individuals on that business domain who are responsible for reporting need access to that Scada data. So for cybersecurity best practices, it's not a good idea to have access to that controls network if you're non-essential personnel who do not need to be on that controls network. So what you can do with the Wonderware Historian is you can utilize a very powerful feature with a Tier 1 Historian. You can replicate that data through a firewall, and you can select the port to your business domain on that Tier 2 Historian. Now, all those individuals on your business network or operations can have access to that vital Scada data without interfering with your controls network. And now you have a secure pathway to get access to data without interfering with control. Now, this is another example of that same architecture. However, the significance here is that it's leveraging our very new and very secure online or cloud edition of Historian. The emphasis here is our online version doesn't require you to have any additional infrastructure in place. It doesn't require an additional server for the Historian, and you don't have to leverage any additional IT services. So you can still take advantage of that best practices for cybersecurity by having a Tier 1 Historian. You can replicate that data up through a firewall to your Tier 2 Historian, but without needing that additional infrastructure. Now, the really cool thing about our online historian is it's powered by Microsoft and supported with the Azure Data Center. So now it's Microsoft's responsibility to help you protect your data. Now, the cool thing about the Wonderware historian is that your original data records can't be altered. And so that data is secure, and now it's made available to that business domain without any additional need of infrastructure. So let's take a look at a architecture for redundant historians. So these are two historians running in parallel. Now, your primary historian here is doing all your data collection, and it's sending it up to your users up here. And now let's say, for instance, that that connection gets severed and that historian goes down. Now, your application server, and this is leveraging our system platform technology, will go to that Tier 2 historian and look for its name, and now begin to make access to that Tier 2 historian, which is the same data, and make that available to those individuals that need access to that data. The most important thing here is to the end user who's actually retrieving that data from that Tier 2 historian now, they have no idea that their primary data source, that Tier 1 historian, is gone. Now, when that historian comes back online, your application server will store and forward that data and backfill. So now the timestamps are the same, and you have identical data being shared and stored. The really powerful thing about this architecture is they don't need to be in the same building or in the same facility. You can have this in the next state or in the facility up the street, and you can still take advantage of and leverage this technology. So let's take a look at some architectures. So now we're looking at our Scada workstation, and this is for a very small facility. They have only about 1,000 connections. And usually in a facility like this, we complement that with a 100-tag historian, which is very common. And now you have a full plant that has historical data collection with technical support, because we include our customer first support, and software upgrades for just under $5,000. Now here's an example of a redundant Scada workstation for a facility. Again, it's a small facility, but now you have that redundant capability, and you get all that for just under $10,000. Now, Wonderware is very good with thin client and remote access architectures. And what a thin client is it's a operating system or a computer that doesn't have an operating system on it, okay? And what it does is that it usually relies on another computer, such as a server, to power that system. And we recommend a server because it's a more robust platform and more reliable than a PC. So in a typical architecture, if you have more than one workstation, which is very common, you can configure your Wonderware application at the server level, and this can be applied for redundant terminal servers. And your users can access that thin client or mobile device, such as an iPad, to have access to their Scada data. Now, the benefit here is no software is installed on the thin client. You have a single point to make updates and changes. Additionally, a thin client offers a lower cost of ownership, since a thin client is less expensive than a PC. And a thin client can be configured with ACP Thin Manager, or you can utilize remote desktop services. Now here's an example of remote access architecture with pricing. you have your Scada system, you have your redundant Scada server, and now you have that remote access client, and you can have this technology and this architecture for just under $12,000. Very affordable. Now, system platform is, again, a more modern, a more newer way of accessing your Scada. And to the end user who may be familiar with InTouch or Wonderware, it leverages InTouch as its front end. So to the end user, it's no different. The real power with system platform, though, is in that development environment. So rather than it being a tag-based environment, it's an object-based environment. And to give you an example, an object is, let's say you have a pump station. The components of a pump station would be a pump, a well, a flow meter, and if you have any chemicals that need to be monitored, that can be included. Now, the real advantage here is that that makes up your object. And the cool feature is now you can reuse that object to help speed development. And the object also maintains the graphics. Another cool feature of System Platform is that it offers out-of-the-box checkbox redundancy. So if your primary historian goes down, System Platform will store and forward that data and backfill the historian. So here's an example of that. So now you have your System Platform, you get the historian, and then it also gives you that cool store and forward feature. So if one of your workstations go down, your application server will backfill the data. So to the end user, you won't have any lost data, and they will still have access to that vital Scada data. And you can have this technology for just under, slightly over $10K. So we talked about our powerful reporting tool with the Wonderware Historian, but now we're going to talk a little bit about Dream Report. And Dream Report is a report configuration and dissemination software tool. Just like the Wonderware Historian, it's not a prerequisite that you have InTouch, because the Dream Reports connects to anything. It has open connectivity. In addition, it offers very ease of use, and you can create very high-level reports very easily without any scripting or programming skills. Let's go ahead and move forward into a demo. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our map here, and we're going to look at our water wastewater industry pack. Now this is a visualization of Southern California. We're going to go ahead and drill into this lift station here. Now this is our Tribeco pump station. We're going to go ahead and now, as you can see, we have the valve, we have the motor and the pump, and they're very lifelike. And this is leveraging those orchestra graphics. But also, if I left-click on this, now I can view my process, and I can have control over that pump. If I click on this valve here, now I can see my flow, my job, and my total flow. And if I need to reset it, I can do so. So now let's go ahead and take another look at our feature. And let's say I'm out in the field, or I'm looking at my pump, and I notice something. And I need to go ahead and create a work order. Now, with ER Portal, our maintenance management software, which, as you can see, integrates seamlessly with Wonderware, I can actually take a look at my work order history, or if I need to, actually create a new work order. So for right now, I can see all the logs that have been done on this particular asset. I can see who requested it, and I can see all the information and the notes that were taken. But like I said, what if I want to create a new work order? Well, I very simply click on New Work Order. I have my asset name. I can select a priority. Go ahead and say Priority 3. I can indicate who's making the work order. For the sake of illustration, we're going to go ahead and say it's George, the operator. And now I can go ahead and put my note, what job needs to be done. I can say maintenance needs to be completed. Now, I just created a work order. I have my work order number. And now when I look at my report through ER Portal, I can see my work order number, and I can see the maintenance work order that I just created. Click OK. Now we're going to go into the Management Console. So we're going to go and be the manager. So now I can view all the work orders for the various assets. And as a manager, I have a view of every work order and every asset. But let's go ahead and take a look at the work order I just created. Now, here's my work order. I can assign this as part of a project. I can see who requested the work order. I can assign the work order. I can schedule it out. I can tie it into my GS mapping system. This is right here. I can copy that work order. I can print that work order, or I can email that work order. And that's our ER Portal maintenance management system and our water wastewater graphics library here. So let's go ahead and take a look at our InTouch Access Anywhere. Now what you're seeing here is my Internet Explorer. Now up on the top left is my browser. As you can see, this is my link to this application. But I'm also going to show you my favorites. Here's my favorite right here. So it's very simple. I can save the link to this browser right to this application right in my favorites. I can click on this link and it'll pull up this page. I go through my authentication, username, password. I click connect. And now I have my Scada application accessible to me. And the cool thing about it is there is no software on this application or on this device. It gives me full control. So I can turn it off, put it in off mode. I can put it in auto mode. And it's been made available via HTML5 web browser. I have full control over my process without having to install any additional software. So let's go ahead and take a look at Dream Report. Now, this is the web portal for Dream Report. We're going to look at some example reports. So now I have an example of a monthly operating report. From here, I can see I can include my date. I can include my wells, discharge, and flows. We can also look at some additional reports here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and, there you go. And so now I can look at my bacteriological report. And as you can see, I can have very high-level reports created. I can include a city seal. I can have my fluoride, my pH, my collected, by who it was collected by, and I can have my temp available. And these are all ad hoc reports that are natively created to the Dream Reports application that are simply accessible to you, and you can go ahead and begin using them. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fluoride report. So now, again, you can have text included in your report. You have your date, your gallons that make up your water, your daily residual. And the cool thing about this is these reports can be scheduled on event, alarm. You can have them pre-scheduled by to go out on a specific date. They can be emailed out, and like you see now, they can be made available on a web page. So that concludes our demo. So now, the reason why Wonderware is the industry-leading, lowest-risk, easy-to-use solution. And that is why Wonderware took very great care to make sure that we complemented tools and solutions that would complement that. They're very easy to use, they're very affordable, and they're proven. Now, if you're looking to go past your InTouch or Scada, or if you're a system integrator and your customer is looking to enhance their plants or facilities functionality, we would be more than happy to partner with you to share our products inventory and our expertise. So this will conclude this morning's webinar presentation of Water, Wastewater, Scada Made Easy. And so as a just quick reminder, I'd like to remind you all that coming up in September 22nd, we'll be having our InTouch Part 1 training class. And then very important, we're going to be having in August our free training workshop, which is our InTouch Machine Edition. I strongly urge all of you to put this in your schedule and make a point of attending. There's going to be some new functionality that's going to be shared with you, and so it's going to be a real exciting event. And you can go ahead and register for this event at norcal.wonderware.com. And I'd like to thank you all for attending. Kelly, do we have any questions?
Hi, Ty. Yes, we do have a few questions. The first one that has come up is we are a very small water district. We are less than 100 tax. Do you have Scada packages that can accommodate a system this size?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. In the example during the webinar, we had a tag count that was at 1,000, but we can also can scale your we can make packages that are scalable to fit a very, very small footprint. So if you have like 100 tags, we have packages for that that are very affordable.
Great. The next one, does the Wonderware Industry Pack for water and wastewater cost extra?
No, actually that's included within the InTouch application. So when you order your InTouch license, it comes preloaded with that industry pack.
Okay. And then it looks like this is the last question right now. How can I find out more about the Wonderware system I currently have?
That's a great question. There's two ways you can go ahead and do that. You can contact us at 866-966-3376. We can schedule to have a product specialist come out to see you. Or if you're already working with an account manager, they'd be more than happy to come down to your facility and take a look at your application and offer you any recommendations and put you on a path to how you can better understand your applications.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ty. I think those are all the questions that have come in. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for your time, Ty. Thanks for everyone else's time. If anyone would like to review a portion of this webinar, a recording will be available on our website this afternoon. And again, if any questions come up after the webinar that you'd like to ask us, feel free to email us at webinar@norcal.wonderware.com. And thank you, everyone, for attending this morning. Have a good weekend.